Good evening, everybody. This is Conscious Gatherers. My name is Beverly Thompson, and I'm here with Royce. So, welcome.
Hello, everybody.
All right. Today's date is June the 14th, 2022, and this is Flag Day, officially Flag Day, and a few other celebrations going on, including my daughter's birthday. I'm going to get that in. So, there we go.
Yay,
yeah. So welcome, and we have a few things to talk about tonight that we've been experiencing ourselves, as we usually do. Bring up our experiences and share those with you, as well as what we've been hearing from a few other people too. So this is an absolutely incredible time that we're going through. I know we've said that, but more and more and more is coming up within each of us. So some of you may say, this is really weird, which it might be. But do remember that, we're going through this, we've been calling it Ascension Plan, and the frequencies are changing our bodies as well as the earth, and we do have help from our space brothers and sisters. So all of this is going on right now, and it's pretty amazing times. Do you want to add to that?
Well, there are a lot of people who are getting quite overwhelmed because of everything that's happening, and try not to lose heart. Keep your mind on who you are and what you are, and keep on going.
Yeah, and that is not only in the world events, that many people are wrapped up in the world events, and they indeed are going on as we speak. And I know we've said this many times, we're going to keep repeating it, and that is, don't get attached to everything that's going on, because there's a lot of distractions out there, and they continue. And some of the things that we have seen going on in the world, and I'm hearing lots of stories that a lot of it's not true. And
so discern everything.
Yeah.
For yourself, discern everything.
Yeah. If it doesn't feel right, then it's like, maybe there is something. Trust that gut feel.
Yeah, just back away from it and just be true to yourself.
Right. Because the more intention you put on some of these negative things that are going on,
the more it manifests.
The more it manifests, and we're going to get into that manifestation in just a bit, and talk about that. But a lot of people are waking up. We use the term waking up or becoming more awake.
Yeah.
And
in big ways.
Big ways, really big ways. You want to...
Holy cow kind of ways.
Holy cow. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm hearing stories about, people seeing more colors around people, and colors and music. Color, which is basically sound and light, which is the same thing, but people can visually see that. Yeah. And that's some of the capabilities that we have. And if you don't see colors, that's okay. And I'm saying with your eyes open or your eyes closed.
Yeah.
A lot of people have been experiencing dizziness. And I heard of one person going to the hospital, and this is outside of vertigo, those that have vertigo, but not being able to stand up very, hard to get their balance.
Yeah.
And yet there's nothing the matter with them. And so it's the integration of some of these very powerful energies that are going on right now.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. What else I want to say about that? But a lot of people are afraid to say anything because it sounds so weird, which it does, from what we have accepted as the norm. Well, that norm is changing.
Well, I think we're stepping into the realization of what's really normal, as opposed to what we were fed as an old program of what somebody else was telling us was normal. Don't buy into that. You know what normal is. You feel it, and it's something really grand.
Absolutely grand.
Yeah, don't dummy yourself down.
it's okay to question.
Of course.
Because
yes.
we've been say, okay, this is the way things are supposed to happen. This is the way how we're supposed to believe. The guidelines we are to follow. All of these things that we have paid attention to, and it gave us some peace and some understanding. However, that is being challenged. That people start waking up and start understanding that this is not quite right. And because they're seeing within themselves a much larger picture.
Yes, and the self is growing so strong that the old stuff is just so bogus that you can't tolerate it anymore.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Your vibration is raising, and that which is not in sync with that higher vibration is just, you can't tolerate it. It's just like, get it away from me. I can't stand it anymore.
Reminds me of running your fingernail across the chalkboard.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, that energy or whatever that puts out, it's like, no, I can't do it. I just can't do that anymore because it just doesn't feel right. It is not right. Your body feels funny. So again, pay attention to how your body feels.
Yeah, just help yourself to try to not react to the stuff that is no longer in sync with you. I'm speaking from experience. If you get upset about it, that just makes you more miserable. If you can get to a place where you just let go and just try to go with the flow, you'll be able to feel that new you and go with that. We're creating new programs, so to speak, and it's a totally different frequency.
Well, exactly. I'm going to repeat on the dizziness aspect of it. If you are experiencing a lot of dizziness, take time off.
Yeah.
And it may only be a few minutes. It may last a little bit longer. And just you start integrating the higher frequencies in the body, and it takes the body adjustment periods. And so that's what's going on. And so allow for those adjustments. If you need to sleep, that's a big thing. Mm-hmm. People's sleep patterns. I've been hearing some people 4 hours a night. Other people are saying 8. And they go into the deep, deep sleep. So REM sleep, lucid dreaming, that sort of thing is happening with many, many people too. So if that is happening with you, just know that's all part of the process. And if it's not happening, that's okay. Everybody is different, and they're going to act, I can say react, but they're going to, the energetic, the energies that are here on the earth is affecting our physicality, and everybody's going to be affected a little bit differently at their own pace.
Yeah.
And sometimes it is a kick in the butt.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if it is, and it's hard for you to stand up or to even try to work, be it at the computer or whatever, then back away for a few minutes.
Time out.
Yeah, time out. Even if you're at a job, because you can't. It's hard to perform your job when you can't be present with that job. That makes sense. So it's hard to focus on what you're doing, and so you need to back up. So back up, or call back up, but just slow yourself down. Just integrate the energies, and then you'll be able to do your job once that is done. So you can go back into it, and you're going to be smarter and better at it. So yeah. So it doesn't mean you have to put in all the time. Just make sure the job gets done, right? And that's what's important. All right. Today, we heard some upcoming revelations or events, but revelations nonetheless. And then I've got the word preponderance of activity.
And it's really funny. I was telling Bev that I believe it was yesterday morning, as I was waking up, I saw this lady come at me, and she's just said that word very pointedly, preponderance, and just left really quickly.
Like, What was that about?
Yeah, that's what I said.
Now, this woman is etheric, by the way.
Yes.
But very visible and audible for you.
Very.
So it's not a normal. I mean, a lot of people do use that word, but it's not a word I use all the time. But I definitely heard preponderance. So preponderance of activity. So I'm asking today. I said, okay, what's that mean? For us, and what can we tell you all within these podcasts? And so I've got actually I got 4, but I'm going to tell you about 3 of them. One was the U.S. Capitol. I said, okay. And it's that many people are getting to see how easy it is through some of the shenanigans that are going on. And just, again, discern and pay attention to some of the stuff that's going on. And then, if it doesn't feel right, let it go.
Yep.
Yeah. We're noticing some people that have been asked certain things, and it might be some of our lawmakers, so-called lawmakers. And I'm noticing a lot of them are evading the question. And so they have a way to work around it that may sound all well and good, but they didn't answer the question.
Yes, pay attention because, we've gotten used to all of this incoming information, solid incoming information all the time. And we become a little bit numb to what just happened, And it's like when the question's evaded, if you're not paying attention, you missed that. And you don't know to ask the question again until it gets answered, because we have a right to the answers.
We do, if they're, where their constituents, and
that's for anybody, not just politics.
That's true. Anything.
Yep.
Anything.
Yep.
So remember that. So evidently, a lot, as we all know, a lot going on in the U.S. Capitol and around the world. But a lot of eyes are on the Capitol right now. Federal Reserve was the next item. And so I asked about the Federal Reserve, and I guess the old system is turning off. It's like I could see big machines, at least that's my vision. And it literally just the switches were being turned from on to off. It was. So I feel, and I have heard too, that the Federal Reserve is under the Treasury Department and not a separate entity, even though it wasn't part of the Treasury Department before. It was under their auspices. I don't know if I explain that correctly, because I don't quite understand it. So, but many of you do that are listening. So anyway, a lot of things are happening in the financial markets, and it's all going to be absolutely wonderful. From what I'm hearing about the QFS, the quantum financial system.
It'll be different. So just ride the wave. Try not to get upset because things will be different.
And it's eventually when we do the exchange out, my understanding, it's going to be 1-to-1, so you're not going to lose any money. So the banknotes that we have now under the Federal Reserve will be under the Treasury Department, and then I believe we go into what's called the rainbow currency. So it's all being planned out, and it's really going to be a more equitable financial system. And so this is happening in the United States, and the financial systems are changing around the world. So be aware of that. Do not freak out. You're not going to necessarily lose what you have. The stock market has been going down a lot in the last couple of days.
But that's the stock market.
It's the stock market, right? It's
which is a gamble.
Yeah.
Has been from day one.
It is. So you can see some of the stuff going on there for those that have the eyes to see, and some people are gaining and some people are not. So use your discernment in investments. And I know a lot of people have put their money into precious metals such as gold and silver. So even silver lately is that's gone down. So I think There's certain people that have their thumb on the market, and that thumb's going to be lifted. So just leave it at that. So yeah, so that's happening. All right, and the third word I heard was monastery. I'm like, okay. So what I got out of the monastery, you got the word disclosure.
Yes.
And I said, yeah, I heard a cleaning out. Mm-hmm. And so I'm thinking more in Catholicism, or could be anything.
But it could be anything. Any kind of religion.
Yeah, there's different kind of monasteries for different religions. Mm-hmm. So basically, it's a cleaning out of those that are in there for nefarious reasons. And but there are some wonderful, wonderful people that really devote their life to the spirit realm, to God, Jesus, whatever it may be. And and I'm not going to discount that whatsoever, because their heart is really in it. There are others that are not, and they use it as a cover. Mm-hmm. And so
whatever it is, that in these times, it's the hidden things that have been going on for a long time that was hidden because it was not suitable to see. But those things are being outed.
Mm-hmm. Good way to put it. All right. All right. So that is part of the preponderance of activity and happening now, from what I'm hearing and seeing some of it. So I think we're going to see a lot more. And if some of it's a little disgusting for you, just remember we are going to a beautiful earth. And we're going to get through this, and we may need to hold each other's hand as we go through this. And if so, and you're strong with this, help those that are not, because some of them might be a little surprised, shocked, in disbelief, and causing anxiety or whatever it may be. So remember to help those out.
Yeah, there's a biblical thing to follow, and it's think on these things: that which is good, that which is right, and that which is just. So just concentrate your thinking on those things, whatever that means to you. The rest, if it is of no good, it will fall away. Don't put your thoughts into that. Keep your thoughts on that which is good, right, and just. And you will stay afloat. You'll keep your heart intact.
All right, well said. Thank you. Yeah. All right. All right. As with this whole thing, another word that came up was probabilities. And it's what we've been talking about in this podcast as we're dropping old programs. And as Roy said, going with the flow, all is good. And so some of these probabilities are going to be pretty phenomenal for us all.
Yeah.
All right. And then another word I got was reassignments. So I'm like, okay, what does that mean? So I guess it's a good word to use, because what we once thought was important to us is no longer important. And so we reassign ourselves to some of those, could be contracts, it could be whatever that we came in with. And by the way, some of those old contracts that we came in to the earth realm with, they're done. And they may not serve us anymore. And we have every right to say, I let go of all contracts that no longer serve me. But do say that no longer serve me, because a lot of them are still serving you, and you do not want to get rid of those until you're done with those, because there's a reason why they're there. You put them there, and to experience. Yes. So it's for your soul self, source self, whatever you want to call it. All right. So we're reassigning ourselves to our new adventures.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Along with that, so today, being the 14th, is also the strawberry moon. From looking this up a little bit earlier, it looks like it's already happened this morning. So as the moon, if we see the moon in the night sky, it's going to have that reddish tint. And it came from the whole strawberry moon came from the Algonquin tribe, Native American tribe up in northeastern United States and Canada. And it was a time of harvesting strawberries. And so the moon had that reddish tint to it. And not sure what causes the red tint, but anyway, so that's how it got its name, Strawberry Moon. So those that, most of you are listening to this after that date, but you can probably look at some pictures if you're not aware of the Strawberry Moon.
Yeah. And one of our friends was telling us that this is a particular good time to think about those things that are our desires, what we would like to have, to be, could be a place, could be just anything, but to write those things down as if it was already taking place.
Or done.
Yes, done, and we're already living it. Mm-hmm. So that takes out that time frame in between now and then. It brings it into reality now. And she was talking about infusing that into like quartz crystal.
Mm-hmm. So you could put it's just very important to write it down.
Yes.
It's visual, and it when you write things down, you tend to remember more.
Yes.
And so that's a way of manifesting. And then you fuse them into the crystal, and then you see how your life changes.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. So it could be a new house. It could be, a partner. It could be, well, that's two people, but the other person has to be on the same wavelength there. But it could be lots of different things. I don't know. It could give you instances, but what's important to you.
Just to be more aware.
Be at peace.
Yes. Anything,
yeah.
Whatever your heart desires.
It can be all of the above.
Yep.
So it doesn't matter. How do you want to? How do you want your life to look? What is it? And then you really do some deep diving within yourself to bring out a lot of that you're like, wow, that is important. And then you may write some things down that are not real important. And if they're not that important, if you look at them,
take it off the list.
Take it off the list, or you put that in a different list,
but
or throw it away.
To figure out what you do want.
Exactly. So that's very, very important right now. And this whole thing is basically, we talked about this in other episodes, but we're slipping into what's termed no time.
And wouldn't that be what that would be? To write down things as if we were already there. That takes out that time factor. It is already reality.
Yes.
So that would be in essence no time.
There you go.
Manifesting in the blink of an eye.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. That is on the manifestation, and a lot of people are realizing that the timelines are very fluid. And because some of the stuff is coming up, it's like, okay, did that happen already, or didn't it happen? Because we're so linear, right? And it's like, things aren't as linear as we really think it is. And so, keep that in mind, because it does get confusing. And eventually, when you sit down, as we get more in tune, I know how we started this podcast, more in tune with these energies and how strong they are, we eventually will be able to focus on any one area and still be present. If that makes sense, because otherwise it gets confusing. What am I doing? And one of our friends that we're talking to today, she had gotten a new telephone and computer, but it's like getting a new phone that's a lot different than your old phone. And it's like, okay, how do I work this? So we thought it was a great analogy, because it works a lot different than our old phone.
Yeah.
And it was
communicating with yourself.
Yes.
You don't talk with yourself the same way that you used to. It's totally different. You're different.
Yeah, literally different.
Yes.
Literally different. So it's very exciting. It can be disconcerting at times, but hang in there. And if you need to take a little bit of time off, as we mentioned earlier, to just integrate some of these energies, or go into meditation, or take a walk in the woods or along the beach, whatever it may be, will help with the grounding of the energies. Unless it's the energy that doesn't feel good, you have every right to throw that energy off, and you literally can do that. Or bring a column of white light over your body and let that expand, and then all other energies that may not be for our highest good cannot stay within in your presence.
Yes, and I was going to mention about don't be frightened if you find that you have like blinked out of this reality. Like people can't see you, or animals can't see you, and all of a sudden they do, and it scares them half to death.
Go ahead. Go ahead and explain that one.
Yeah, I was sitting on the patio, and I have this beloved neighbor's cat who comes and visits, and the cat came up onto the patio, and I kind of briefly thought, well, that's strange. The cat walked right in front of me and didn't rub up against me like normal. And I said, well, hey, baby. When I said that, the cat nearly jumped out of its skin. And this is a very observant cat. The cat did not know that I was there, and I was sitting right there. It walked right in front of me. And I had that happen with my dear friend Bev. I disappeared in a store.
Yeah, she did. I swear I looked up and down the aisles and I could not see her.
And I was right there.
Yeah.
So when these unusual things happen, it's part of what we're going through. It's part of that, raising of vibration thing that's going on. It manifests in a lot of different ways. So when odd things happen, just stay calm, go with the flow, and it's like, hey, yeah, another one of those things just happened.
You blinked out and came back. But she didn't know she blinked out. I mean, that's the other thing. You don't realize it.
Yeah, you don't realize it.
We call it blinked out because it's in physicality. It's like, okay, what dimension are you in? It's like, okay, I can't see you, but you don't realize you've gone anywhere.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
And then sometimes you'll see other beings, which I have in the past, seen other beings physically.
Yes.
And they're ethereal. And so it actually happened at Royce's house. So I'll tell you that event. All right. All right. This happened quite a few years ago, and I was looking out on her back patio and through the glass doors, and I physically could see these white apparitions. It didn't scare me. And I think I turned to her and I said, you've got some white people walking around on your back patio. Ethereal now. That's what I'm saying, white.
Yeah.
And she goes, oh, yeah, they're the monks.
Yeah, because I was used to interacting with them. And I knew that they were, not in this, what we call the physical realm. Mm-hmm. They were, something a little different.
Yeah.
More etheric. But I was physically interacting with them. But it was really neat when Bev was able to see them, too.
Yeah. Yeah. I've seen a lot of weird stuff, even with my physical eyes. And that's another thing that I have noticed with me lately. I'm seeing flashes of light. Mm-hmm. And they're so quick, a lot less than a second. And so it happens fairly often. Yeah. And a whole space will light up.
Yes.
And it's in the house. It happens in the house. I've seen it happen outside. And, I'll look around because it, catches your eye.
Oh, yeah.
And then I'm looking, it's like, okay, where did that come from? Don't know.
Yeah, it is a very large flash. It puts out a lot of light.
Yeah.
It will light up the whole area in a room. I've seen it too, and it's just a split second.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah. I don't know what that is. I'm looking at Royce and saying, what is this? But I've been experiencing it actually for a few months. But I did see it the other day when I was talking to a friend. Sometimes I'm sitting, if I'm watching a television, which I don't watch hardly at all, but I've seen my whole hallway light up.
Yeah.
And then I'm looking around like, okay, where did that come from? But I'm really not sure outside of the timelines intersecting there. And
or could it be a portal? Where we're just a bit unsure as to exactly what that is. I don't know.
Even if it's a portal, I don't see, I've not seen any spiral or anything like that. But it must, if it opens or closes, but I don't feel any beings coming in and out of that either.
No.
And I felt portals before, and that got uncomfortable. And you can close those if you do feel them. You just, you close your eyes, and then you just close the portal. And
with your mind.
With your mind.
Your focus.
Because, our minds are incredible.
Yeah.
So do know that we are extremely powerful. And it's another reason why all this stuff is going on in the world, because they're not going to stop the power that we already have, and that we're starting to realize that we do have.
Yeah, and if people start to make fun of you, so what?
Yeah.
They just haven't experienced what you have.
Yeah. Yeah.
So maybe one day they will, and then they might think differently of you. But in the meantime, it just really doesn't matter what anybody else has to think about it,
It's real.
Yeah, that's right.
And they're not experiencing it. And it might be a little scary for them, and they're going to make fun.
That's right.
Because it's too odd.
Yeah.
So, so be it.
Yeah, this raising in vibration thing's not for wimps.
It's really not. So, one thing I wrote down today, because we were talking, and I wrote down, we're meeting ourselves in a whole new light.
Mm-hmm.
And
I like how you put that.
Yeah. So maybe we'll just call this episode that. So anyway, lots going on. Stay calm. Take care of yourself.
That's important.
Yeah. If you freak out, back up from that and just remain calm. If you need more explanation, you can, get a friend that you can talk to, or go into meditative state if you can do that. But you can close your eyes or whatever, or just sit and write, and things will come to you. You just have to allow that to happen.
Yeah. And if you are just getting way too overwhelmed with everything, if you can get yourself out into nature by yourself, put your feet in the grass, look at a leaf, anything, but just give yourself some time in nature, quiet time.
Mm-hmm. Just observe.
Yeah.
And then it takes you away from some of the other things that you've been experiencing. Yes, it's a distraction, but it's a nice, in a way.
But it's really not a distraction, because it snaps you back into what's real.
Yeah.
It puts a lid on all of the technology, chitter chatter, all of that, and makes things very real.
Okay. Just using the word real. We did a whole episode, what's real and what's real.
Yeah.
So this is one of those. And so, yes, what's really real, yes, we created this reality, so it is real, but it's really not the real you.
Yeah.
It's part of you, but not all of you, the whole of you.
Yeah, the whole of us does not fit in a body.
Does not at all. So,
not even close.
Yeah. So know that, how beautiful each of you are. And you can look in the mirror and you may see something expansive, or if you don't, look at yourself and just say, I love you.
Yeah.
And just see how that feels. So,
I like that.
Yep. You can pat yourself on the back, that works too. But it's really nice to acknowledge who and what you are.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's quite a day and quite a time that we're going through with all the things that are going on. And it's okay. It's up to you to talk about some of the experiences you're going through. Excuse me. Some people will be want to hear it. Other people will not.
Yeah.
So use discernment how far you can go. But if you don't say anything because you don't want to feel weird, odd, whatever it may be, some people may be going through the same thing.
Yeah.
And then
surprised.
Yes, and then they start opening up.
Yeah.
And the more they open up, the more the next person opens up. And so, that's that ripple effect that goes on. As if you're going, people are going through stuff. So, and a lot of it's wonderful, and some of it's hard to look at. But you just know that there's beauty throughout this whole process.
Yeah, and there's another line from the Bible that says, iron sharpens iron. So if you can find someone who is on the same wavelength as yourself, there's strength in that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There's power in that. There's camaraderie. There's solace. There's peace in that.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of groups, a lot of out there that get together and discuss things like this. So wherever you're at in the world, you might be able to find that. And there's a lot online groups that will basically talk to one another and discuss their experiences or things that they've heard from somebody else, whatever it may be. And it just expands ourselves. So you're not alone. And it's up to you to reach out and not hold it in. So that's it. Well, thank you again. If you have any comments or questions, you can go to our YouTube channel, Conscious Gatherers, and you can leave the comments there. That would be wonderful. Also, if you want to talk privately to Royce or myself or Terry, who occasionally will be with us, you can call the number 864-999-3008. And that number is written on our YouTube channel, too. So if you don't have a pencil to write that down right now, you know where you can find it. All right. Well, again, this is episode 70, so it's like, wow. Our next episode is on the 28th, so in 2 weeks. And I'm going to be at the beach, so I'm hoping that we get a good connection. And so I'm going to take a little bit of time off with some family and friends. So looking forward to being on the beach and in South Carolina. So it'll be fun. All right. Well, thank you all, and we appreciate your being with us tonight.
And during these very interesting times, these times where it seems like everything is in a state of flux, I want to thank all of you from the bottom of my heart for staying. And I want to thank you for coming here in the first place at this particular time, because we need you here now. So thank you, everybody. I love you very much.
Remember, you're very, very loved. Thank you all. And good evening.
Good evening.